Huh? Kaboom.
I guess we'll watch a little bit of the Asmongold. We'll watch the bald man. I heard that Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is unironically like a very good game.
Dragon Ball Sparking Zero got a 7 by IGN. Y'all believe that shit?
You guys stay out of this.
Oh.
If I'm the one these guys want, then that's what they're gonna get.
As the first direct sequel to Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3 since its PlayStation 2 debut.
Wait, no way. They gave it the same rating they gave Concord? No. No. No, you're lying. No, you must be trolling. Why would they give Concord a 7? No.
About Dragon Ball Sparking Zero's old school design and presentation. It's tougher than Vegeta's chest plate and imbalanced in ways that are both annoying and lore accurate. Menus are labyrinthian. Training tips are sparse and sometimes not very useful, but every battle is crafted with the sole purpose of putting the—
I'm not gonna lie, this looks like fun. Alright, I'm not usually interested in anime games, but this looks like a great time.
Dragon Ball Z fighting fantasy, as it appears in the anime, into our hands. Fast-paced—
So they make this story, so they make it to where, like, the story is authentic, and this is why it's bad?
Key slinging, teleport kicking, and magical hair—
Wait, is he saying this is a bad thing? I thought the person reviewing this was saying it was a good thing. It didn't seem like he was saying it was a bad thing. Is that what he was saying?
Dying is great fun, so long as you're patient with its gnarly learning curve.
Gnarly!
As a result, settling back into the pace and precision of this brawler feels just as much like a labor of love as the effort to resurrect the series in the first place.
Oh no! Folks, should I maybe get the heck out of here?
All right, let's see it.
Yeah, I'm not usually into anime fighting games, but I was kind of tempted to try it because, like, I've never seen one. I don't know, everyone's been positive about it. Not to say that other anime, like, games aren't, like, people don't like them, but, like, this one I've seen more, like, a lot of people like it. More than I think I've ever seen before.
The dude's mad because he can't beat 8th Vegeta? Wait, is that—
That's gotta be it! They can't beat Vegeta. That's why they gave it a bad review. They're butthurt about it.
Is that true?
It's
undeniable
how great Sparking Zero's characters and environments look in still screenshots.
Yeah, it looks
Every
amazing.
character, no matter what era of Dragon Ball they're from, looks better than I remember. In motion, things get a bit more dicey.
No way, it's true. It is really true. IGN really did give Concord a 7. What the absolute— Where are the receipts? Let me see, where are the receipts? Oh my god! Why? Like, I don't know what's worse. The fact that they thought that Concord could even reach past, like, a 1 on the scale, all the way up to 7. Like, it even gets a passing grade. Like, 7 out of 10 is 70%. The fact that they thought that Concord got a pass and said it was good, I don't know which one's worse. That or the fact that they also think that the Dragon Ball game somehow is in the same ballpark even.
Cutscene animations in particular being awkwardly stiff. But at least the sound hits the mark.
If you want your little brat—
Look, to be fair, the animation in the anime was a little stiff as well.
Oh, really? Was it? Okay, I confess. I need to watch Dragon Ball. Have not watched it.
Didn't it get— Wasn't it stated that one of the reasons why Toriyama wanted to do Super Saiyan is so he wouldn't have to color the hair of the characters anymore in the manga? So yeah, it's kind of stiff, like—
You know what, mods? I'll let that one go. We dragging dem balls across IGN's face. I feel like that was poetry. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, sometimes stuff goes too far. Sometimes things are just poetic. They just feel good to say. Dragging these nuts.
It's the same as I remember I watched Fist of the North Star. Super stiff. But it's about the soul. Come on.
Turn
not the
safely,
animation.
Kakarot. Prove your Saiyan spirit.
The raucous blast, key explosions, and booming whooshes of Z fighters flying at high speeds are ripped straight off the screens of old TV episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks good. I'm not gonna lie. For an anime game, like, this looks cool. It looks just like the fights I've seen, like, from Dragon Ball itself, in, like, clips of it. It looks straight out of the anime.
Most of the iconic voices of the various series are recreated pitch perfectly by
Been
their
playing it
original
non-stop?
voice actors, too.
And
What's your favorite part of the game? I've heard that the PvP is the best part. I heard that the solo story is a little bit hit or miss. But yeah.
Important detail to get right.
I don't actually know.
Wait, how is this not a fucking 10? Like,
I was gonna say, like, I feel like they deserve, like, if Concord's a 7, they deserve, like, an 11. A 25. They gotta be really far away from Concord if Concord is somehow at 7.
Well, Bulma, Trunks, and even you, Kakarot.
Another win for my inner child was the truly immense roster. 180 plus fighters.
dude, when this happened, oh my god. It was so cool. It was so fucking cool, man.
Should I watch Dragon Ball chat? Am I too late? I want to play this game, but I feel dumb because, like, I never watched Dragon Ball as a kid.
From every nook and cranny of the series are playable.
Did you guys
Many
ever do
of
that
these
with your
characters
friends?
are
Will you do
repeated in
this?
some
Watch
fashion.
it. Am I too late? Like, would it be... It's like how others feel about playing Genshin Impact now. They're like, wow, I'm really behind. That's how I feel about starting, like, things that everyone, like, knows and loves that I was never really a part of.
There
Like in
are
middle
19 versions of Goku, for example.
Yeah.
But they all aren't simply reskins. They can have different special techniques and transformation trees. Meaning base level Goku from the Saiyan invasion days has a different set of moves and a much lower upside than Buu Saga or Super Era Goku.
Like, this all looks very good.
Transform into various Technicolor versions of Super Saiyan.
And again, I feel like this is coming from me, right? I have no nostalgia playing in on this. The game looks good. It looks straight out of the anime.
These abilities can't be changed, but I could modify...
A lot of the games that I see that are based off animes, like, they look super empty. And it's very evident that they're trying to capitalize off the IP and that they're not really actually trying to, like, make it look like or feel like you're playing an anime. But this game really, really makes it look like that.
Each warrior
Even
with
just
ability
looking
items
in.
that boost things like attack power and health, though I barely noticed any benefit at all when doing so.
Yeah, I would expect that.
The controls are universal for all characters, but some on the roster interact with the standard system slightly differently than others, which is an appreciated layer
my
of
God.
nuance. Android
He threw
characters
him.
can't actively regain ki in order to launch blast attacks, while gigantic characters like Janemba can't be grabbed. Sparking
Wait, you can play... You can play against this character?
Oh my god!
Can you play as this character? No, fuck, that's insane. That's
I feel like Asmon should play the game.
Oh my god.
grabbed. Sparking Zero makes no attempt to balance these differences either.
I hear a lot of that about this character.
Oh.
People were not happy about Grade 8 Vegeta.
Time I was forced to fight a character.
He looks like he's really strong, chat. He looks like he's really strong. This guy, I don't... Listen, I don't know the power scaling of everyone, but this guy looks like he's about to clap the cheeks. I feel like this man is clap cheeks type.
Was canonically stronger than mine in the manga or anime, they were just as impressive in-game as I'd expect. I didn't always like it, but I respect the commitment.
Let me see what you got.
Man, the fact that they stopped to, like, talk each other in between fighting, so good.
Unfortunately, the bar to execute the various techniques of its diverse cast is very high and extremely frustrating. Inputs are simple overall, but early on, I often felt lost when combat picked up the pace. Part of that is admittedly on me. The last entry of the series I played with fervor, but that was right after Barack Obama was elected. The fast pace
What
of
does that
Sparking Zero
have to
compared
do with it?
to Tenkaichi 3, mixed with the lax tutorial system, threw my 17 years older reaction speed out of the ring with ease.
I bet you can probably just pattern play with this and beat most of the campaign. Like, you can do that with, like, any campaign in these games. Yeah, it's not that hard. Exactly, you could cheese, yeah.
Yeah, especially, like, okay, this is my guess. I don't know anything about the game, I haven't played it. A lot of these games, especially the campaign and not the, like, the PvP mode, they're made so that everybody can play them, even if they're not good at games, right? Unless it's like something where it's like well established for being a sweaty game, like I don't know, not Street Fighter, but like Tekken, for example. If you casually went into Tekken, never having played a fighting game, you might struggle more. But like games like this, a lot of times are meant to like be able to be picked up by the casual player.
You're fighting a robot. What does Obama got to do with this? It was a long time ago. I mean, for me, like I'm even farther back than he is. Like we had Budokai 2. Actually, I don't know whether it was... I'd have to go downstairs and check. Like, but we had one of these on the GameCube.
Oh, man, he's got to go check. He's got to go blow some dust off and figure out which one he has.
I spent a lot of time traveling back and forth between regular fights and the training mode to check and double-check my understanding of when and how to use these techniques, as well as in the settings to adjust my button schemes and accessibility toggles.
Yeah, sure.
It just looks
really
so
the
cool.
only effective teacher was 25 Blue
It looks
Out.
like this game also is fun to watch. Like, I feel like as a Twitch streamer, right, some of the games you play are super fun, but then you think of, like, somebody else watching them, and it's like, is this really fun to watch, like, as a viewer? And sometimes that's just not the case. This game looks enjoyable just to look at.
Hours of getting kicked around.
Yeah,
Also,
course.
compared to modern-day fighting games, Sparking Zero's training options are rudimentary at best. There's no expectation to lay out frame data and hitboxes in a less competitively focused game like this.
Honestly, I'm glad, because the whole point is to enjoy the game. Especially if you're playing, like, the campaign. You can go be sweaty when you fight other players, but, you know...
Drills or a more nuanced customization of CPU behaviors would go a long way to help beginners and returning players fly up to the high skill floor.
I could see how maybe that could be true, but in general, I think that like a big problem that fighting games have, and this is like a huge issue, is that fighting games, this is my opinion.
Oh boy.
Fighting games have a huge problem because of how inaccessible they are to average players.
No, he's absolutely right. So, for example, the first fighting game I really got into was Street Fighter 6. By the time I get to a lot of these games, it's like, you know, I'm on the sequel or the game, you know, in this case, it's many games later, right? Street Fighter's been around forever. But one of the things I really liked is Street Fighter 6 has, like, the new button combo system. I don't know when they added it in, but they have, like, the simplified version. Because I play on mouse and keyboard for everything, including fighting games. And I felt like Street Fighter 6 was the first time I really felt like I didn't have to have played all the other games, like, since I was little in order to, like, keep up. And so he's really right that, like, this matters. Because I think, I could be wrong, but Street Fighter 6 is pretty popular compared to other fighting games even because of that. Like, the latest game did better, I think, than, like, Tekken and some of the other ones, didn't it? Because it had a lot of accessibility features. And I think that, at least for me, okay, if nobody else, it made me like the game. It made me want to play it. It was the first time I played so much of a fighting game ever.
And it's that the skill cap in these games is so high. And because the skill cap is so high, a lot of people, including myself, are intimidated. And like, I watch Street Fighter 6. I like watching the game, but I don't want to play the game. Does that make sense, right?
Man.
And so
I feel like he should try Street Fighter 6, but I understand, right? Even Street Fighter 6, like, any game that's a fighting game usually is going to be more competitive. It's going to be, like, really fast, spamming and knowing your combos and stuff. But he could play, Asmi could play the whole campaign. If I could play it, I'm sure he could. Because I'm trash. And I play on mouse and keyboard, so, like, that's the other thing is I feel like, for me, like, I really, really have no experience with fighting games. And so if I could play Street Fighter 6, I feel like there's hope for anybody else who, like, really doesn't, like, really feels intimidated by this. Because same.
That's why modern fighting games have modern controls. Exactly, right? And so I think this is something that, like, obviously they're trying to overcome by, like, not really focusing entirely on balance and, like, making everything, like, razor close in terms of, like, its effectiveness.
Yeah, and I think this is great. And also, I think having, okay, like, you could still have the sweaty people that want to play, you know, really, really high technical knowledge, but, like, the fact that they had the campaign The fact that they had a story mode where you could enjoy the game entirely without having to play PvP if you didn't want to. And they also have a non-ranked mode. Like, having those other game modes, I feel like really also made the game so great.
That's the goal. That's why they have skill-based matchmaking. Yeah, but like, the problem is that I think that the level of skill that like basically back in the day that it used to be like this much, and like now it's this much.
It's because, like, the people who have played fighting games forever, like, they continue to get better and better at games like these. And the people who haven't continue to be, you know, they start at the bottom. So, like, if all of these people are, like, people in, like, an MMO or something where they're constantly leveling up, it's like by the time you start, right? It's like they're, like, you know, they're over level 10,000 and you're level 1, so you're just gonna get kicked to the ground.
So, like, people nowadays are just as bad as they used to be.
Right.
But people nowadays also are better than they ever have been.
Yes.
Like Street Fighter
As
6,
you do
I love
damage
it.
and gain energy,
Because also, like, there's internet knowledge is more accessible than it ever has been. So, like, learning tutorials and metas and all this stuff is, like, at the tip of your fingers, you know, more than it ever has been.
a meter will charge that grants a skill point every time it fills. There's a handful of ways to spend these points, the most common being on unique skills each brawler has, like this and this one. But points also need to be spent carefully on transformations and the new revenge counter system, which works a lot like combo breakers from Killer Instinct.
Okay.
The timing on your defensive options is razor thin and can be a real bear to learn.
Sure.
But these can be life-saving. Unlike Key, which is also used for a variety of offensive and defensive maneuvers, the resource management decisions you have to make on a moment-to-moment basis really add a welcome bit of strategy to an otherwise frantic fight.
Yeah. So the thing that they're doing really well here, I feel, like this is gonna sound nerdy, but they're giving you things to do and focus on and be rewarded by. So you're not just necessarily like button smashing, you have things that you actively can think about that feel rewarding, so you don't feel like somebody just like, I don't know, like playing cookie clicker, you know? It's like, it's really important, because I feel like a lot of times what happens is whenever you say you're a casual gamer, people think you like don't enjoy like interactiveness with the game. And like, that's not true either. So I feel like this is really good. They're providing like things to do, and it's not necessarily like super unforgiving or focused on like the 2% of sweaty people who are super good at competitive games.
Yeah, that's good.
It's
There
absolute
is definitely an
cinema.
old school approach to a lot of the progression systems and menus of Spartan Zero. You can grind achievements, which get you rewards like characters, costumes, and in-game currency at a healthy rate.
Sure.
There are microtransactions, like a $35 season pass covering 3 packs of characters and 2 $15 music packs. But
I mean, sure, whatever.
see the option to buy them without leaving the game and going to the storefront directly.
Okay.
Oh, that's kind of good. I think it's good if you have to leave the game in order to buy something, so it kind of snaps you out of, like, you know, a 2-button click that you buy something really expensive. I feel like that's better.
Similarly, so many of the menus are a hassle to navigate. For example, you can customize characters' abilities and costumes to be used in all modes, but those modes don't have paths to the customized screen within them, so you have to exit one completely and go the long way to make adjustments.
I think that's a fair complaint, and I think that menus should be good and more coherent. Yeah, I think that.
I agree. I'm a big UI stickler.
I think that part's fair. Who cares? Well, I think it's fair to say that.
Yeah, it's a fair criticism. See, this is the problem, though, right? Is like, Asmon's going into an IGN reviewer, so like a bunch of viewers are just gonna automatically be like, bah, 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 bah. They're waiting to grab his criticism for something wrong because they don't like IGN.
Like, it doesn't mean the game is bad because of that, but it's fair to say it.
Barely acceptable in 2005, and we certainly don't have to live like this in 2024.
I always thought Trunks was so cool having a sword.
The flagship single-player mode is called Episode Battles, which is a truncated retelling of the biggest Dragon Ball stories from various characters' perspectives.
So if this is lore accurate, when you're fighting Cell at the beginning, is he just like so ridiculously fucking OP that you can't beat him?
Oh boy, I heard that it's pretty accurate, but it also has some times where you can like change stuff. Like you could choose kind of how stuff plays out or something. I don't know.
There's what ifs. Yeah.
Just about every Dragon Ball game has done
half
this
and
in
half,
some form or fashion, but this rather exhaustive version does a good job at keeping the time between battles short and prioritizing the important moments versus making you play every single skirmish, as Tenkaichi 3 did. The standout feature this time around, though, is that certain events can actually be cleverly changed for some
Okay, yeah, this is what I heard about. This is what I was talking about.
Dramatic new outcomes.
Okay.
That could involve making a choice during a cutscene or ending a battle in a specific way that then changes the course of the story, sometimes dramatically. But not all of these side attractions are created equal, with only a few I've seen being truly jaw-dropping or substantial, like teaming up with Piccolo to kill Cell early.
Man, those voice actors are killing it, man.
That's cool.
Episode battles can be very difficult.
I love it.
Since powerful characters can become all but immune to your normal attacks and will always have the perfect defense to match your offense, making it tough to experiment and find these largely hidden special conditions when you...
I love stuff like this. Like the super overdone, like super weeb epic moments that are just silly and you're not supposed to take them silly or straight, you know, you're not supposed to take them like completely seriously. I love stuff like this. Like overdone combat where you can blast somebody through an entire mountain and they still come out with like barely a scratch on their nose.
Difficulty on a fight-by-fight basis in order to progress if you really need to, but these special tasks
I love the overdone, unrealistic combat games.
At least the standard difficulty, making finding them
I love how ridiculous they are.
Activity. But I did.
That seems cool. Yeah, you have to do it on standard at least to keep going. I actually wish that there were more games that gate kept you. I know this sounds bad.
Wait, what?
But I actually think that games that have gatekeeping like that are more fulfilling and better. Lowering difficulty, like I think basically you should have ways to make yourself stronger so you can overcome challenges, but you should have to overcome challenges. It made Tectone rage quit. I mean, did he do it on hard mode? Because I bet.
What made him rage quit? Is there different modes of the storytelling part of the game? Was he playing on the hardest difficulty? People are rage quitting the game.
Tone was probably like egoing it, right? And he didn't want to turn down the difficulty.
Oh no!
Wait, no. He just couldn't beat it.
The call out.
There's only 2 modes. Oh god. Oh wow.
Oh man.
That's. Oh, I thought he was like doing it on. Oh.
Appreciate the
effort. Savage, him laughing at him. Oh my god.
To spice up the stories that have been rehashed ad nauseum.
I feel like, all right, this is just my opinion. You have no right to laugh at it unless you played the game and you didn't get stuck.
What the?
All right, you can laugh all you want, you know, but if one of my friends plays the game and they get, you know, obliterated and they rage quit, I can't laugh at them unless I beat that fight. You know what I mean? I can't just laugh at them in the back, like in the peanut gallery, and not have played the game myself. That's just my personal opinion.
Which exists somewhere between Mario Maker and the Universe mode in a WWE game. Using a toolbox full of special modifiers that limit what characters can and can't do in a given scenario, as well as some triggers that help
See, this is so good. And this is good for people like this game, like what it looks like to me is that this game was made for fans of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like a love letter to the game. And I think that's why so many people like it. They didn't take it too seriously. They didn't make it only for competitive gamers who play fighting games. They also didn't make like slop that was just meant to capitalize on the IP without really caring about the source material. It seems like they really got that sweet spot, and you know, the people who made the games were also, you know, lovers of the anime as well.
If you grew up trying to draw Goku's hair in middle school or high school, this game was for you.
Oh man.
You know? Like, I'm just talking about exactly, right? And so it's like when
Try
you have
to
a
draw
game like
Goku's
this,
hair.
I think in a lot of ways, it's kind of like Space Marine 2, where
Are
like
you guys getting caught out?
I think Space Marine 2 is an 8 out of 10 game that will evolve into a 9 out of 10 game. And if you're a Warhammer fan, a huge Warhammer fan, it's a 10 out of 10 game at the baseline.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're not, it's an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, but to be fair,
And I
like...
think that a lot of times you need to have people that all...
to be fair, like, Warhammer is kind of a niche community as is. So the fact that it, like, went outside of that to a bigger community is like, so good.
Are huge fans of these games that are reviewing them.
Yep.
Because, like, for example, I'm not a Civilization fan. I'm not. Like, I could just never get into it. I always thought Age of Empires was way cooler. I thought Command & Conquer was way cooler. I like the real-time strategy. So if you had me review Civilization, I probably would say it wasn't very fun. I wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
You need to have, bro. You need to have, like, if you want a Sparking Zero review for the people that need the review, you need to go down to Brazil, find the first 35-year-old man that you see, and just have him do the review of the game.
Yeah, he's gonna be so excited, man. He's gonna put so much hype into the game. Listen, everybody would love if that's what they did, all right? Who doesn't love hearing somebody who is a huge fan of this type of game absolutely smitten with that type of game because they know everything about it? Bro, I would listen to that review. I'd love to hear, like, reviews that people, like, have a history of enjoying that type of game, right?
To go find a first.
You know, this review from somebody who came out the womb watching Dragon Ball Z. You know, he's got Dragon Ball Z action figures on his shelf. He's rewatched all of the episodes, including filler, over 3 times. He's frothing at the mouth, waiting to play this game.
Have him review the game.
I can't wait to hear it.
The real, authentic viewpoint.
I want not any weeb. I want the weeb to review the game. The Super Saiyan weeb.
And particular outcomes
from Brazil, please.
These battles can potentially resemble more of a puzzle.
He'll make me want to buy it.
Digital action figures together.
The chosen weeb.
There's a shoddy system for putting together dialogue so that some sort of narrative can be added to them.
Yeah, this is awesome.
The best it can do is loosely set up make-believe stakes. I had no plans to write my own entire Dragon Ball arc, but I'm not sure the tool's up to the task even if I wanted to.
Yeah.
There are quite a few custom battles made by developer Spike Chunsoft baked in, and they don't really stretch the imagination that much. A few of them present interesting scenarios and specific parameters for victory, like seeing Kid Goku spar with Master Roshi, who can only be beaten by the Kamehameha.
Really? That's interesting.
Oh.
But I haven't come across an aha creation that really shows me the potential of this mode. Sparking Zero at least seems to break the Tenkaichi curse of truly abysmal online multiplayer by supplying some solid network play.
This guy just seems like, yeah, this game's alright. It's pretty okay.
When wired up, I found minimal latency and lag issues on livelier servers, or at least not enough to blame it for me dropping a combo or missing a parry. There is a local split screen.
I feel like tech recently for fighting games has gotten really, really good online.
Yep.
I do. I feel like the tech is way better.
Yeah, that is true.
For people who want to duke it out in person, but it's disappointingly limited to just one stage, the white void of the hyperbolic time chamber. Even still,
I think also if you get like a more dedicated fan, they would probably also be able to tell you like how this compares to other games of its kind.
Playing Sparking
Which would be
Zero
good,
with
like
real
interesting
people that
to
you can
hear.
hit with a dramatic one-liner or a guttural power-up scream is still the best way to do it by far.
Rollback, yeah. The Street Fighter 6. Well, I feel like it's not just that. Like even Valorant's really good. Like just in general, online play is better.
Is a final flash from the past, sometimes to a fault, as demonstrated by its archaic menus and remedial training tools. Its episode battles have the kind of reaction-heavy difficulty that doesn't really exist in most games these days, more than once crossing the line between challenging and frustrating. But the feeling of traveling back to a simpler time when games didn't have to be balanced or competitive to be fun is a good one.
I think that is the best part of the game. And I feel like some people underestimate how important this is.
Especially when that action stays so true to that of the show it's recreating.
Because also, like, did you guys ever do this back in the day in like let's say you were playing like Smash, like we had this where it was like, so our big game was like Soul Calibur. That was the game that I had. That's the game we played. And I remember if I would play against someone who was bad, I wasn't allowed to play Nightmare or Astaroth in Soul Calibur.
I never played Soul Calibur, but okay.
Character. Or like anytime that I would play Smash and I was playing against somebody who was bad, I wouldn't be allowed to play like Roy, Marth, or Link, right? Nobody with a sword.
I didn't play that much Smash Bros, but man, did I always lose to Roy. Whenever I was out of friends, I would always frickin' lose to Roy players. It drove me nuts. Now, don't get me wrong, though. I was bad.
I hated Valdo. Yeah, he crawls up on you. Yeah, exactly, right? And, Roy, bro, I played Roy a lot until I saw how good Marth was, and then I moved over to Marth.
Yeah, that sucks. Roy and Marth whooped my ass. I guess I was just bad.
Exactly, right?
I was just bad,
so, like,
all right?
Did you guys
Case
ever have this happen where it was like, because like in Smash, in Melee, right, there's like a perfect imbalance of Melee, right, where it's just like, you know what I said before about like onion layers of games? It's like Melee becomes a better competitive game over time. Like, I think that's like one of the best examples of it, right? But like some characters, especially for like new players and like when the game was new, like it was just Donkey Kong generally just wasn't very good against like Marth, for example, right? And so did you guys ever do that?
Clue.
Where like you were only able to play certain characters against certain people because they were worse?
Can't relate because I was trash at these games when I was younger.
I feel like everybody probably did this, right?
I was playing Spyro, so...
Yeah.
Sometimes a friend would have, like, Super Smash at their house and I'd play it, but I didn't have it personally.
Exactly. Yep.
Living a story that was foundational to my youth, looking and sounding as great as I remember it, with the opportunity to alter it in sometimes dramatic new ways is clever, and the addition of tools to attempt to create your own stories could elevate the experiment even further if a community can figure out how to make the most of them. For more, check out our reviews of Metaphor ReFantazio and The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. And for everything else, stick with IGN.
I just can't, like, oh man. I can't get over the fact that Concord also got a 7.
That's what I was thinking.
You fool! True.
I don't know, man.
It's just crazy.
I feel like there's a huge thing about how, like, you've got to make sure that these reviews are being done by people who love the franchise.
I agree with them here. I feel like they should have to say something about themselves. Like, I've said this about Steam reviews. I feel like when there's some Steam reviews, right, that are just trolling or like, yeah, I'm gonna eat a corn dog if this gets, 500 likes. Like, Steam reviews also are the same way, and it's like, why don't they categorize reviews? Like, why don't they make it so, like, the person working at IGN has to say, like, what credibility or who he is even to review this? Because if this is just an average dude who's just like, yeah, I guess I'll review this game, I got nothing better to do, then I don't really care about his opinion, right? Because if he wasn't somebody who was gonna be the target audience regardless, then, like, why would I care about what his opinion is?
Because that's who the game is being made for.
Yeah, yeah.
And also, like, the people that love the franchise, they will grow the franchise and make the game bigger in the process of that.
Exactly.
A bias? Yeah, a bias. Absolutely. Yes, of course, a bias. Duh. Like, yes, you want to have people that like this kind of game. They're going to review the game.
You want to have people that are biased for and against the game, ideally, right? You want to have somebody who's a critic, who's going to say it how it is, who doesn't know. I would say you want to have all of these people, right? You want to have somebody who's never experienced Dragon Ball and tells you the casual player's experience, and if they feel like they're having fun, even though they weren't a part of all this, you want the person who's the ideal demographic and, always plays games like this and to tell you how it compares to other ones. You want all of these things. But I feel like the guy who's lukewarm, who wasn't ever gonna buy the game, except for the fact that, you know, he'll do it because he wants to make money or whatever, right? Like, begrudgingly almost. Like, that's the guy you really don't want reviewing it. The guy that doesn't care for it either way.
That way, other people that like these kinds of games will be better informed. The person who did the previews were very positive about the game, and then they switched the reviewer. Well, I guess I'll have to find. I'll try it later on today. I downloaded it, and I'm gonna try it.
Oh, he's gonna try it, guys. He's gonna play the Dragon Balls.
Hunter is now very popular because of loud voices of dedicated fans. Yeah, one of those loud voices was Tectone. Tectone was so loud, he gave me a he's a little bit of stuff on there. There we go. A Xenogre. From
look
Monster
at
Hunter
it.
World, and he said, you have to play this game. This is the greatest game I've ever played.
Oh, man, look at that Xenogre. That's really cool. I'm a big old Monster Hunter fan, okay?
And I was like, there's no way it's that good because people are so annoying about trying to get me to
Look
play
at
Monster
him.
Hunter.
He's so chunky and fluffy. That's really cool.
And I was like, I don't want to try it. But then Tectone was like, you should try it. And I'm like, okay, now I'm going to take it seriously. I started playing Monster Hunter, and I've beaten almost every boss in the game. And I love it. And
I still haven't finished I finished the base game, but not the ice part of the game. I still need to play through that. I figured I'd come back to Monster Hunter when it gets closer to Wild's release. I'd revisit it.
So yeah, like, and that's what happens with like fans of games. Like, how many of you guys had that happen with like WoW, or you got your friends or family, or like I got my mom into WoW, for example, right? Like, that's the way it's supposed to be, man.
Bro, guys, you know how I showed you guys some indie games this week? The building one where you build little castles. Tiny Glade. So I showed my mom it, chat, and she plays it every day. And almost every day now, she texts me with a new thing, like a new tech she's learned about the game. Like, one thing she learned that I didn't know is you could take like a wall. Like, you know how you can make fences and walls? You can make a wall and make it over water, and it'll make like a little grate. So, like, you can peek through it through the water. It's really cute. And she plays every day because there's like a rotating map that has like special stuff every day. There's like a daily theme, and she's been playing it daily now. I got her hooked on it. And she has not stopped playing it and sending me screenshots about it at least once a day.
Man, that's good. Didn't play Monster Hunter Rise yet? No, I didn't, but I did a lot of Monster Hunter World. I still even have it installed. I had to uninstall like every other game. I did not uninstall Monster Hunter World.
That's because Monster Hunter World is a banger.
I've got almost 200 hours in this game. It's really fucking fun, man. Like Final Fantasy 14.
Man, now I want to see how many hours do I have. I played 195 hours apparently, just so you guys know.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, if you make a game for the fans, I think that that's the only way that you can make a game, because if you lose your core audience, then you don't have anything. And I think that if you just if you focus on your core audience and you just help grow that audience by just making better and better content for them, over time you will make that core audience larger. And I think that when we really...
Yeah, like Street Fighter's doing the same thing. They have their core fan base that likes competitive games, and now they're branching out with, like, their bigger individual stories and simplifications of controls to a bigger audience. Like, you can have both. Asmon's right. Like, as much as people say they don't want a biased reviewer, a lot of times you do want a biased reviewer. At least in the aspect that, like, there's somebody who would at least consider playing this game in some way, shape, or form, right? Like, if you pick somebody who doesn't even really care for Dragon Ball at all or has no interest in fighting games, like, you're gonna get a review that is biased towards not liking it, but it's just the genre. Like, it's not gonna give them any ways to improve.
Gonna see this happen is we're gonna see this with Monster Hunter Wilds. I think that we can see a 600 to 1 million player release on Steam for Monster Hunter Wilds.
I do think that Monster Hunter Wilds might be the biggest release of the entire year when it comes out. because Monster Hunter was already good, and I feel like the game was slept on. And so when people came to the game late, just like I did, it was like so many core systems of Monster Hunter were extremely solid that compared to like other releases that were kind of falling off, Monster Hunter held up extremely well for its time. And from what it looks like, they're building on the things that they had, but they're also not changing a lot of the core elements of the game. They're not pulling like a Dragon Age. You know, where the first game is almost unrecognizable from, like, the games now.
I know it sounds crazy, but I actually think that there's such a huge amount of hype behind the game. I think that we could see at least 600,000. No, I mean, like, maybe not 1 million. Like, that's a pretty big,
Bro, I hope
there,
it's
right?
huge. I hope it's great.
I think it's going to be, okay, we can talk about numbers all day. I think it's going to be a lot higher than World. It'll be higher than Concord.
Yeah.
I think it is. And I think it will be. Yeah, definitely.
I'm so pumped for it.
But anyway, yeah, this shit is so fucking cool, man. IGN only gave this game a 7 because they probably haven't gotten past grade 8 Vegeta. Where's the guy that's been doing all these videos in the...
Look at how many upvotes the response has. Over 600. Oh, 600 likes on that comment.
Game in the preview, the guy that talked about this game like it's a 9 out of 10.
Oh my god, they literally did. I thought the commenter was joking. Did they swap the guy out mid-review? Where's the guy who's been doing all the videos of this game and the preview? That guy talked about this game like it's 9 out of 10. They literally got rid of the guy who liked the game. What the hell? They gave it 7 out of 7 Dragon Balls. Oh, okay, I see. So it's gotta be a 10 out of 10. Makes sense. Okay.
They gave it 7 out of 7 Dragon Balls. IGN wouldn't shut the fuck up about this game for months, and y'all gave it a 7. A fun game with no microtransactions. I thought it did have microtransactions. That's what the video said.
It does, yeah, it does.
182 characters, an intense story mode that changes the original story, a meticulous training system, and amazing graphics gets a 7. You guys are out of your mind.
I'm glad they're calling it out.
Peichi got a 7.5 from IGN back in the day, but Sparking Zero was a 7. That's insane. These guys gave She-Hulk a 9 out of 10.
Ew, my god, there was a game for She-Hulk? I'm sorry. There was a game for this? Man, must have been the best game ever that nobody's heard of. Oh.
So, do you want to know the other game that was rated a 7 by IGN?
Oh, don't worry. Chat's been telling me this entire time.
Concord.
Oh, there he goes again. This is my mods right now, just rubbing their hands together like, yeah, told her so, told her so. Yeah, that's what I said to Rosie right at the beginning.
Oh, man. How about that?
How about that? Anyways, this game does look really good. I don't know how much if you guys would, I can't speak. I don't know if you guys would like me to play this game or not. I feel like I'd have fun, but I don't know the story of Dragon Ball. I haven't watched it. But maybe I'll consider playing it if you guys think it would be fun, if I played it regardless. Maybe I would consider it.